We all? We all? Alright, cool, cool. How y'all doing? Welcome to 4th and 25 with J Ram. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Hope you're staying safe out there. Hope everything's going good for you in your life. Hope you're having a good week. Welcome to 4th and 25, my college football show. Um, on this nice day, we will not acknowledge that it is November. That is the last time I will say that month on here until it actually cools down. Because this weather is crap. It's supposed to be cool. This is November. It's supposed to be November, but it feels like May outside. So, welcome into 4th and 25 with JRM. No more weather talk so I don't get ticked off. All right, we got a lot to get into today. We've got a loaded show for you guys. So, let's get it rolling, shall we? We will start with our normal tradition of the weekend review. Got a little slow audio there. All right, guys, here we go. What a weekend it was this past week in college football. Wouldn't be college football without some surprises. This one didn't shock me for some reason. But anyway, well, look at this. This past Friday night, Clemson beats Louisville 20-19. Clemson wins it despite many errors, a botched punt snap. Louisville stops them on the goal line one time. Running back Adam Randall for the Tigers goes over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Sammy Brown, their talented linebacker, 11 total tackles, 4 solos, a sack, couple tackles for loss. Both these teams were putrid on third downs. Louisville 2 of 11. Clemson was worse, 1 of 13. Made the team very good. Louisville 10 penalties. You're not gonna win football games with 10 penalties. It's very rare if you do. But Louisville looked sluggish. They did not look good, and they seem to be now they're fading at the wrong time. Playoff hopes are gone, and ACC championship hopes are pretty much all but gone. But Clemson gets the win, salvages to 5-5. Should become bowl eligible this weekend against Furman, but Dabo's crew's still fighting. Hey, I respect that. They ain't met their expectations. They ain't met their goals. It's been a very disappointing season, but to their credit, the Tigers are still fighting, y'all. So Clemson wins at 20-19. All right, next up, let's go to the craziest game of the past weekend down at College Station. Texas A&M 31, South Carolina 30. This game was 30-3 Gamecocks at the halftime, and I hate to mention this. I'm sorry, Andrew, but it happened. 30-3 at the break. A&M roars back to win it 31-30. In the first half, A&M had 2 interceptions, a fumble return for a touchdown by the Gamecocks, turnovers, you name it. Everything went wrong for Texas A&M. Marcel Reed comes out in the second half and helps lead this insane charge, throwing for 439 and 3 touchdowns. He had 17 incompletions, but most of them were in the first half. A couple of 100-yard receivers for the Aggies. Casey Concepcion, 158 yards. Ashton Bethel Roman, he has 139 and a touchdown catch for the Aggies. Texas A&M defense, 4 sacks. Wrecking crew like always. A&M outpassed South Carolina 439-267. A&M turns the ball over 4 times and still wins the game. How many teams win with 4 turnovers by themselves? Third downs, A&M 2 of 11. Oh, South Carolina 4-15. What a comeback though by Mike Elko's crew. I hate to say it, but that's a big choke job. Sorry, South Carolina. It's just been that kind of year for you guys. But Texas A&M stays undefeated, 10-0, with a 31-30 victory. All right, moving on. Next up, what have I got next on my list? Oh, of course. How could I forget? This game, holy cow. Oklahoma 23, Alabama 21. This was fun. This was a good game to watch. Congrats to the Sooners. Defense stands tall, forcing 3 turnovers, 4 sacks. They got a pick 6. They blocked a field goal before halftime, holding Bama to 5 of 13 on third down. If you look at just the stats of this game, you would have thought Alabama dominated this game because they outdid Oklahoma in all the stats. But that's not where you win the football games. It's a scoreboard. Kip Lewis of OU, 7 big tackles, 2 sacks. OU special teams, 3 of 3 on field goals. Punting game was good. Oklahoma wins this game with special teams and defense because Oklahoma barely had 200 yards of offense, and they still win this game. Congratulations to Brent Venables and the Sooners. Huge win on the road in Tuscaloosa. It's really simple now for Oklahoma. Win out and you're hosting a playoff game. Congrats to the Sooners. Big time road win. Alabama, this doesn't hurt them as bad. Everything is still in front of them to play for. Win out and you're probably going to go to Atlanta, I think. Don't hold me to that because I don't know how all the tiebreakers will actually work if need be. But everything's still ahead for the Tide. But this is a huge win for Oklahoma. Sooners are back in this thing. All right, next up, we got a lot to go, so let's keep on rolling. Next up, Athens, Georgia. Georgia 35, Texas 10. I'm not stunned because I didn't think Texas had a chance to win this game because I thought Georgia's peaking at the right time. Georgia is peaking at the right time, guys. They outscored Texas 21-0 in the fourth quarter. Gunnar Stockton, 229, 4 touchdown passes, puts on a clinic. He also had a rushing touchdown, totaling 258 and 5 scores. If you watch Georgia, Gunnar Stockton's a bull. I mean, his stats may not be the greatest in the world, but Gunnar Stockton is a bull. Third downs were not good. Texas 2 of 12, Georgia 4 of 11. Georgia outgains Texas 357 to 274, outrushes them 128 to 23. Penalties. Georgia had 1 penalty this whole game. Texas 9. Let's see. Oh, time of possession. Georgia outgains Texas in the time of possession game 35-09 to 24-51. Appreciate the likes and loves, by the way, guys, for those of you that checked in. But anyway, Georgia just dominates this game in the fourth quarter and takes control. Georgia number 4 in the playoff poll. We'll get to that in a little while, but Georgia's peaking, guys. Huge win at home. Texas all but out of the playoffs. Texas is pretty much out of the playoff race. This is their 3rd loss. But great win for Georgia. Congratulations to Kirby Smart's crew. Georgia is peaking at the right time. All right, moving on. Let's go to what happened up in the Steel City. Notre Dame 37, Pitt 15. Not surprised, especially considering how Pitt's coach, how he acted. Anyway, Jeremiah Love, 147 yards, a touchdown. He has another great game. C.J. Carr, the talented Notre Dame quarterback, those for 212 and 2 touchdowns. Malachi Fields had 2 touchdown catches. Joshua Burnham, 2 sacks for the Irish, and their defense total had 4 sacks in this ball game. Third downs, Notre Dame 4 of 12. Pitt does not convert a third down the whole game, guys. Pitt 0 for 13 on third downs. That's crazy. You don't see many teams go a whole game without converting at least one. But Pitt did 0 for 13 on third downs. That's wild. Notre Dame outgains Pitt 387 to 219. Outrushes them 175 to 70. Time of possession 35-17 for the Irish. Pitt 24-43. But Notre Dame goes in and just takes control and just destroys Pitt. Hey, but remember what Pitt's coach said? It didn't mean nothing. Absolutely not. It wasn't a must-win. But Notre Dame gets it done, 37-15. All right, next up, let's head to the Coliseum. This was fun. USC 26, Iowa 21 in the rain. This game was 21-7 Iowa at one point. It was like, whoa, Iowa's playing their kind of game. But USC makes a run, and as you see, comes back to win it. Jaden Mavia throws for 254, touchdown pass. Makai Lemon, 153 through the air with a touchdown catch. Iowa, very un-Iowa-like, 6 penalties. It's crazy. USC only 3. USC outgains them barely, 360 to 320. But in the first half, this was an Iowa type of game, low scoring, ball control, and then USC roared back and got it done at home. Big win for the Trojans. They sit 8-2. Huge game with Oregon coming up as they continue to rise up in the playoff rankings. Watch out for USC. All right, next up, let's keep this show rolling. We're going to head over to the ACC, and a result that very shocked me, guys. Virginia 34, Duke 17. This was wild. Chandler Morris throws for 316 and 2 touchdowns as the Cavaliers just dominated Duke. Jamari Taylor runs for 133 and 2 scores. Terrell Harris, 161 yards receiving. He had a touchdown catch. Defensive end Fisher Samak has 6 tackles, 2 sacks in the Cavaliers defense. And here's a big stat. Third downs. Virginia 12 of 19 on third down. Duke 4 of 15. Yikes. Can't win games when you're doing that bad. Virginia outgains Duke big time, 540 to 255, and they outrushed them 224 to 42. Great win for the Cavaliers. They're 9-2, and now they're off this week. And then if they beat arch rival Virginia Tech next week, the Cavaliers are headed to Charlotte to play for an ACC championship. Big win for the Cavaliers. Okay, next up, let's go to a game that was highly anticipated in the American, and this game did not disappoint. This game was fun. This game was great. Navy 41, USF 38. Big win for the midshipmen. Quarterback Blake Horvath throws for 147 and a touchdown, runs for 60. Alex Texa, I hope I said his name right, talented running back, he runs for 126 and a touchdown for the midshipmen. And then Braxton Woodson, another quarterback for Navy, comes in and runs for over 100 and 2 touchdowns. That's a great game. Eli Heidenreich, 5 catches for 146. Yes, you heard that right. Navy has a guy who can have 100 yards receiving a game. It's crazy to think. The two teams could not stop each other. Over 1,000 yards of offense combined. It was 556 to 524 USF in that category. Navy, of course, outrushed them, no shot, 338 to 200. South Florida, 2 crucial turnovers that ended up being a big-time difference in this football game. But Navy is in first place in the American in a 4-way tie. We'll get to that in a little while. But congratulations to Navy. Big-time win. And South Florida, all but out as far as the G5 playoff spot goes. All right, next up, let's head to what happened up in Cincinnati. That picture's hilarious. Arizona 30, Cincinnati 24. The Cats get a big-time win on the road. They are 7-3. Noah Fafita throws for 294 and a score. Congratulations to him. He becomes Arizona's all-time leader in touchdown passes. Chris Hudson, 123 yards through the air. Catching. Third down, Cincinnati was putrid, 3 of 12. Arizona, 8 out of 16. Arizona outgains them 475 to 344. Outpasses them 294 to 154. Cincinnati, 2 turnovers, 5 penalties. You're not going to win football games like that. But Arizona, big win. They're 7-3. Not going to make the Big 12 championship picture, but setting themselves up nicely for a good bowl trip for bowl season. All right, next up, keeping it in the Big 12. BYU 44, TCU 13. I did not see this coming. I thought this would at least be a pretty competitive game. I thought TCU would play better. That was not the case. BYU rolls 44-13. Bear Buschmeyer, I hope I said his name right, 296 and a touchdown pass, runs for 59 and another score. BYU outgains TCU 447 to 298. The defense of BYU comes through with 4 sacks, 2 turnovers forced, and holds TCU to 1 of 10 on third downs. Really good third down defense by the Cougars. Huge win for BYU as they get it done. 44-13. All right, 2 more games, and then we will jump into players of the week here. All right, next Utah goes into Waco, 55-28 over Baylor. Utah looks incredible. I kind of hope they get into the playoff, but we'll see. It's going to be tough. But anyway, 55-28. Utah, 3 touchdown runs of 60 or more yards in this game. Great rushing attack. Backup quarterback Bird Ficklin runs for 166 and 2 scores. Baylor turns the ball over twice, 6 penalties. Utah, 380 yards rushing. That's like service academy numbers. 380 to 133 Utah in the rushing yardage game. Unbelievable. Great job by Utah. They go into Waco and make a big statement. Baylor is 5-5 and unfortunately falling. All right, one more game. I wasn't going to do this game, but then I decided to because it actually was kind of hairy at first. Ole Miss 34, Florida 24. Florida led this game 24-20 at halftime. Ole Miss's defense was struggling really, really, really bad. But Ole Miss roared in the second half. Florida no points in the second half. Ole Miss does not allow a single point in the second half. Keywan Lacey, 224, 3 touchdowns. He has a hell of a game running the football. Ole Miss outgains Florida 538 to 326. Outrushes them 237 to 108. Ole Miss had miscues though. They had to settle for field goals at times. They had a 4th down attempt at the goal line that did not convert because of a bad pass. But Ole Miss got it done in clutch. And in the second half, defense came to life. Rebels big win. Ole Miss is 10-1. Say what you want about the coaching distractions. We're not going to get into that. But Ole Miss wins it by 10 and has off this week before the Egg Bowl. And the Rebels 1 win away from punching their ticket to the college football playoff. 34-24, your final. All right. So that is a wrap on the week. Now let's get into players of the week. These are my votes for players of the week. We're going to start with offense as we always do. Here we go. Missouri running back Hamon Hardy, 25 carries, 300 yards, 12 yards a carry. Found the end zone 3 times in Missouri's blowout win over Mississippi State. I just talked about Keywan Lacey, the Ole Miss running back. He runs 31 carries, 224, 7.2 a carry, 3 touchdowns. A&M quarterback Marcel Reed throws for 439, 3 scores, and leads the 27-point second half comeback over South Carolina. Gunnar Stockton, Georgia's quarterback, he throws for 229 and 4 scores, 29 yards rushing, another score, so 258 total, 5 touchdowns. A running back not many people are going to talk about, but Caleb Hawkins of North Texas. This young man has had some big games this year, and this was no exception in their win over UAB. He runs 27 carries for 189 yards, 5 touchdowns. This young man finds the end zone 5 times. That's crazy. And he averaged 7 yards a carry. Deuce Robertson, wide receiver at Florida State, good game, 6 catches for 134 and a touchdown. And then we've got Makai Lemon, wide receiver at USC. He has 10 catches for 153 and a touchdown for USC in their win over Iowa. How about Georgia Southern running back O.J. Arnold in their win over Coastal Carolina? He runs for 267 and 2 touchdowns, 12.7 yards a carry, had a heck of a game. Also 4 catches for 53 yards and a touchdown. So he totals 320 yards of offense and 3 touchdowns. Also from Georgia Southern, let's give Camden, and why is his last name not on here? Oh, Lord, I'm sorry. 5 catches, 133, and he had 3 touchdown catches for Georgia Southern. And finally, how about a little love for Kent State? Drew DeShields, 317 through the air, 5 touchdowns in their win not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before, in their win over Akron. So, congratulations to him. All right, next up, let's shift over to our defensive players of the week. Okay, making sure I got the right graphic up. Anyway, C.J. Young, DB at Kent State, also Kent State, and their win over Akron, 13 total tackles, 5 solos, a sack, and 1.5 tackles for loss. We talked about Sammy Brown, the Clemson linebacker. He goes 11 total tackles, 4 solos. Got an alert here on something. All right, sorry about that. All right, guys. Sorry about that. We're having a little technical issue. All right. With Facebook for some reason. Okay. Sammy Brown, linebacker at Clemson, 11 total tackles, 4 solos, a sack, 2 tackles for loss. Linebacker Jackson Forrest of Old Dominion, he has a big game, 10 total tackles, 3 solos, 1.5 sacks, 1.5 tackles for loss. And the win over Troy. Defensive lineman DJ West Solak of Missouri State against UTEP, 7 total tackles, 5 solos, 2.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss, and a pass deflection. Okay. North Texas duo. We got cornerback David Fisher, safety Will Jones. 6 total tackles apiece. Fisher had 6 solo, a tackle for loss, and an interception. Jones had 3 solo, a pass deflected, and he had 2 interceptions in North Texas's win over UAB. We got Miami defensive lineman Akeem Mesidor and cornerback Jacoby Thomas for the Canes against NC State. Mesidor 5 total tackles, 3 solo, a sack, 2 tackles for loss. Thomas has 3 total tackles, a solo, 2 picks, and a touchdown, on a pick 6. Kip Lewis, linebacker at Oklahoma, we talked about him. 7 total tackles, 7 solo, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. Fisher Kamek of Virginia, defensive end, 6 total tackles, 3 solo, 2 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss. Ray Connie, linebacker at Tulsa, 10 total tackles, 2 solos, a sack, 1.5 tackles for loss. And finally, safety Marvin Burks Jr. of Missouri in their win over Mississippi State, 12 total tackles, 5 solos, and a pick 6. So that's our defensive players of the week. Guys, we're having some technical issues with Facebook, so I don't know what's going on there. I'm just going to keep on going, and we'll get this show done, because I got to get it done. And whoever sees it, I guess. Alright, so let's do special teams players of the week. We've got Oklahoma's duo of kicker Tate Sandell and punter Grayson Miller in their win over Alabama. Sandell 3 of 3 on field goals, long of 52, 2 of 2 on extra points, 11 points total. Miller 6 punts, 46.7 yard average, a touchback, 3 inside the 20. His longest punt was 57 yards. Nathan Totten, punter of Marshall, he goes against Georgia State, 5 good punts, 52.4 yard average, a touchback, 3 inside the 20, along of 59. Penn State punter Gabriel Nowusu versus Michigan State, 4 punts, 46 yard average, 1 went inside the 20, long of 68 yards. Kicker Christian Pavon of Sam Houston in their win over Delaware, he was 4 of 5 on his kicks, long of 48, made both extra points, 14 points total. BYU kicker Will Ferrin, 3 of 3 on field goals, long of 52, 5 of 5 extra points, 14 points for the Cougars in their win over TCU. We got punter Hunter Green of San Diego State against Boise, 6 punts, 45 yard average, 2 touchbacks, 1 inside the 20, long of 53. And then we've got Navy punter Jacob Carlson. He has a big game, 4 punts, 46.3 yard average, 2 1 inside the 20, long of 66 yards. That's a good kick. LSU kicker Damian Ramos against Arkansas, 3 of 3 on field goals, long of 50, 2 of 2 extra points, 11 points total. Kansas State punter Simon McClellan versus Oklahoma State, 6 punts, 43.7 yard average, 4 inside the 20, long of 53 yards. Oh, I'm sorry about that. And then we got Kansas State punter Simon McClellan. Oh, we talked about him. I'm sorry. And finally, Ryan Harris, punter of Washington State against La Tech, 5 punts, 41 yard average, touchback, 2 inside the 20, and a long of 56 yards. All right, so that is a wrap on our players of the week. Let's take a look at J-Ram's updated top 25. Just missing J-Ram's top 25, we have Navy, Illinois, and SMU. I strongly consider these teams, but not quite. All right, and then here's my top 25. Houston checks in at 25th. I got Tulane at 24th. I'm getting very similar to the playoff poll lately. Missouri 23rd. I've got North Texas coming in at 22. I think they're getting a little disrespected, just like James Madison, who's 21st. I think JMU's the best G5 team. Just my opinion. Texas is 20. Now, their strength of schedule is a little tougher than Tulane's, but I still think JMU's pretty good. Texas drops down to 20. Tennessee up to 19. Michigan is 18. Virginia is 17. I've got USC at 16. Utah is 15. Miami hanging at 14. Vandy up to 13th. Georgia Tech 12. BYU just on the outside of the top 10. They're sitting there at number 11. Alabama, of course, falls to number 10 after the loss to Oklahoma, who's number 9. I've got Notre Dame at 8, even though I think I might have them a little high, but I think 8's not bad for them. But just hanging tight at number 8. Texas Tech is my number 7. Ole Miss is 6. Oregon checks in at 5. I've got Georgia at 4. Texas A&M 3. Indiana 2. And, of course, the number 1 team in the country, I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that, is Ohio State. All right. Finally, J-Ram's bottom 10. The worst teams in the country. Just waiting on the outside, just missing is Nevada and Sam Houston. Now, they both won this past week, so they dropped out of the bottom 10. Actually, I'm sorry, they're 1 but not safe. I'm sorry. All right, just on the outside is Arkansas, the Baking Bits, who are 2 and 8 after the loss to LSU. All right, my top 10, bottom 10. Colorado State at 10. You got Purdue at 9. Purdue. UTEP is 8. 7, Oregon State. I never thought I'd see Oregon State getting blown out by Tulsa. That was crazy. What times we're living in. Georgia State checks in at 6. Boston College is number 5. I got Charlotte at 4. Oklahoma State at 3. Middle Tennessee is 2. And then UMass at number 1. Completing the bottom 10. All right, so let's move on we're going to take a quick break and catch our breath, and then we will be back, and we'll jump into our next segment. We're going to talk about the new coach at Virginia Tech. Love it. We're going to talk about some other stuff. Hello? Alright, I hope y'all can hear me. I don't know if y'all can hear me. Shit. I don't know if y'all can hear me. I hope y'all can hear me. Let me make sure I've got my audio. I hope it's still working. It says it's working. Alright. I hope you guys can hear me. Alright, moving on. Welcome back to 4th and 25. Okay, so let's do some other stuff. We're going to hit our news and notes side. Alright, welcome back. Alright, so we've got some stories to get into. So first things first, little coaching news. Maryland is going to keep Mike Locksley for 2026. Their athletic director says they will boost NIL and they will increase financial support for the football program. Athletic director Jim Smith has told ESPN. Locksley's a good coach. He's in his 8th season there. They're 4-6, lost 6 straight. They went 4-8 last year after winning bowl games the 3 years before. Maryland, you're in the Under Armour pocketbook. I don't know why they ain't getting more support, but that sounds like they're going to. I like Locksley. I think he's a good coach, so hopefully this will work out for them. All right, other news. Kenny Dillingham, head coach at Arizona State, reaffirms commitment to Arizona State. He's been linked to numerous open jobs like LSU. Dillingham shut down any rumors of him leaving after the win over West Virginia this past week. He says, I was never leaving. I never said I was. This is home. You have to continue to push. Kenny did graduate from Arizona State and played there, so would not be shocked. I think he's a great fit there. So don't look for him to leave Arizona State anytime soon. Okay. Next up. Whoop. All right. Next up. Why the image ain't coming off? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Virginia Tech has a coach. James Franklin is the new head coach at Virginia Tech, the embattled former Penn State coach. He was introduced actually this morning at the press conference in Blacksburg. Franklin said, I'm honored and humbled to join the Hokie family. My vision is simple: to restore unmatched excellence, to build something that lasts, and to serve this university, the Commonwealth of Virginia, and our amazing fan base with honor, integrity, and passion. I look forward to getting to work with our players, our staff, and the entire Virginia Tech community. Franklin is 128-60 as a head coach over 12 years at Penn State and 3 at Vanderbilt. Remember, he took Vandy to back-to-back 9-win seasons, which was unheard of. He brings a resume that includes winning more than 68% of his games. Penn State, of course, last year under his leadership made the playoff and made it all the way to the semifinals and also won the Big Ten championship in 2016. He replaces his former DC, Brent Pry, actually, who was fired in September after an 0-3 start, who was 16-24 as Virginia Tech's head coach. All right, so I love this hire. Just giving you my 2 cents. He's an excellent coach. He's a good coach. Yes, he's had his trouble against the bigger boys, against Ohio State and Michigan. But dude's a winner. He builds a consistent winner. I think he's going to slam dunk it. He also has ties to the I-95 corridor area there in Virginia and D.C. So he's recruited there when he was at Penn State, when he was at James Madison as an assistant. He's going to do fine. I love this hire. Great job, Virginia Tech. So shout out to you. All right, let's keep going. Let's do a little FCS talk. Here is the FCS coaches poll. Yale coming in at 25th this week. Lafayette says high at 24th. You got West Georgia 23rd. South Dakota State at 22. South Dakota 21st, Southeast Louisiana at 20. You got Lemoore at 19. Abilene Christian at 18. Youngstown State 17. North Dakota 16. Jackson State of the SWAC, your HBCU representative, at 15. You got UC Davis at 14. Stephen F. Austin at 13. You've actually got a tie for 11th. It's Monmouth of the CAA and Illinois State of the Missouri Valley. Check out Harvard, Ivy League school. Harvard at number 10. Remember, the Ivy League gets a playoff spot now, starting this year. Rhode Island at 9. We got Tennessee Tech at 8. Villanova 7. Mercer at 6. Tarleton State, a really good team, at 5th. I've seen them play a couple times. Lehigh 4th. And, of course, the Montana State Bobcats at 3. Montana 2, arch rivals in the Big Sky. Huge in-state rivalry. They play this Saturday. I like Montana to win that game. And then, of course, who else? Number 1, North Dakota State. Now, this is the final week of the regular season for the FCS teams, and then the playoff bracket will be unveiled on Sunday. They have automatic qualifiers for their playoff. You have 11 auto bids and 13 at larges. Here are the current auto bids clinched. Of course, North Dakota State. Are you shocked? No, nobody is. They won the Missouri Valley again. They are in the playoff. Mercer has already clinched the Southern Conference. They're 9-1. They play Auburn this weekend. So, yeah, paycheck. And then Stephen F. Austin has already clinched the Southland Conference title. So you have 3 auto bids clinched. So Mercer, North Dakota State, and Stephen F. Austin, they've already punched their ticket to the dance. All right, so that is FCS talk. Now, let's take a look at some other stuff real quick. Guys, the playoffs start this weekend for D2 and D3. We'll try to get this thing back up and hope this works. All right, let's hope this works. All right, here we go. Is this D3? Yeah, all right. Guys, it looks like we're back up on Facebook. I hope we are. I apologize. We had some technical problems. I don't know what was going on there. All right, your NCAA D3 football playoff bracket is out. This graphic is a little small for me, so I'm going to pull it up real quick on here. Let me grab my thing. All right, so this is a 40-team playoff. Yes, you heard that right. 40 teams go to this playoff. As ludicrous as that sounds, that is insane, but it is what it is. This weekend, you have 8 first-round games, pretty much play-in games. The winners will go into their respective regions to play the 2 seed or the 1 seed. So this weekend, Union, New York is at Muhlenberg. You got Birmingham State at LaGrange, Grove City at Hanover. We got Coe at Concordia, Wisconsin, Crown, Minnesota at Wheaton, Illinois. We got Chapman at Whitworth. Washington and Jefferson is at Susquehanna. I hope I said that right. And then finally, you've got Cortland at Springfield. So that's your 8 first-round games this weekend. The 1 seeds are Mount Union, Wartburg, Christopher Newport, and, of course, North Central Illinois. North Central Illinois and Mount Union have owned D3 for a long time, so they're obviously the favorites to get into the D3 championship. But it's playoff time. All right, next up, let's look at D2 playoffs. There's kind of a little more cutthroat and simple. It's 32 teams. Say what you want. It used to be 28. They raised it to 32. I know the argument. I'm not here for that. I'm just here to show you the bracket. 4 8-team regions, pretty much. The 1 seeds are Kutztown, Ferris State, where Trinidad Chambliss was at last year before he came to Ole Miss. Harding and Albany State in Georgia. That is your number 1 seeds there on the top of each of these regions. Your 2 seeds are Johnson C. Smith, Findlay, Central Washington, and, of course, West Florida. Really good program. I'm going to put my money on Ferris State, and I'm going to take a chance on Albany State. So I got Ferris State and Albany State for the D2 championship. We'll see how that goes. But this is your D2 football playoff bracket for anybody who might be interested. All right, moving on. The college football playoff top 25 came out last night. Here's the updated rankings. Obviously, the big question was what was going to happen with Bama. Little mixed bag, but there is a lot of surprise. They fell this far. They dropped to number 10, as you see. below Notre Dame. Did not expect that. I thought maybe ninth, but I did not expect Alabama to be below Notre Dame. I was a little surprised there. Oklahoma moving up to 8. Let's see. We'll start at the bottom. Arizona State checks in at 25th. You got Tulane, G5 representative at 24th. Nothing against Tulane, but I was hoping James Madison was in that spot, but it is what it is. Houston for the Big 12 back in at 23rd. Missouri hanging in at 22nd. You got Illinois 21st. Tennessee's at 20. Virginia, one win away from the ACC championship. They check in at 19. You got Michigan at 18. We got Texas at 17. The Longhorns dropped to 17th after the loss to Georgia. 7-spot drop. All but ending their playoff hopes pretty much. Georgia Tech 16th. Again, if they win this weekend against Pitt, they're in the ACC championship. USC is 15th. Vanderbilt 14th. Unfortunately for Vandy, I think this might be where the road ends for them unless they win out and get some help. You got Miami 13. You got Utah 12 and then BYU 11. So BYU and Utah just on the outside of the top 10. Alabama 10th. Notre Dame is 9th. Oklahoma is 8th. Oregon hanging tight at 7, moving up to 7. Ole Miss moves up a spot to 6. Texas Tech 5th. And then your top 4, like we expected. Georgia's 4th. Texas A&M 3rd. Excuse me. Indiana 2nd. And then Ohio State is number 1. So, thoughts, reactions. Not really shocked at some things, but a little shocked Bama fell that far. The Notre Dame-Miami debate's going to get interesting and heated up the next couple of weeks if they both win out. I do think Notre Dame's a top 10 team. I think they're a good football team. But should they be ahead of Bama? I don't know. Miami, I still think needs to win the ACC just to safely get in. Because if they don't get to the ACC championship and Georgia Tech wins, Georgia Tech's getting in over them because they're conference champion. Interesting. We'll be interested to keep an eye on that as time goes on. Okay, so let's move on. Oh, Thanksgiving. All right, so let's move on, shall we? We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to jump into conference standings and talk about the conference races for a little bit. Be back in just a minute, guys.
Look at me, I'm lost at sea, circling eternally. Come and help me from this insanity. Where am I disgrace? I hate to see your face. I wanna see you drown in your sorrow. You know I'm not the same. I'm fading away. I'm falling into my grave.
Alright guys, welcome back to 4th and 25. I do not know why this graphic is still up here because it's supposed to not be. Alright, now it's gone. Alright, oh, one more news and note I did not mention before we went to break. Tennessee DB and punt returner Boo Carter no longer with the team. He is gone and will transfer. Interesting. Alright, so we said we were going to talk about the conference races on here real quick, so let's jump into it. We've got, oh, of course, the SEC. Alright, so SEC standings. Here's the race. Texas A&M is the only undefeated team left. You've got Georgia, Ole Miss, and Bama with 1 loss, and then Texas, OU, and Vandy at 2 losses. They're pretty much out. If A&M loses to Texas and Ole Miss and Bama win, there's a lot of different scenarios. You have to go look those up yourself. Now, Georgia's done with SEC play. They're 7-1 in conference. Their last 2 games are non-conference with Charlotte and Georgia Tech. Of course, it's simple for Texas. Just Texas A&M. Just beat Texas. You're in the championship game. Alabama and Ole Miss just need to win. Do you really want to be in the SEC championship with this 12-team playoff? That's obviously a big topic of debate. I'm not going to get into that. I thought if Bama beat Auburn, they were in, but apparently that's not 100% sure. But this is what the SEC standings look like right now. All right, next up, let's do. Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong graphic. All right, here we go. We're gonna look at the Sun Belt real quick. Now the East is simple. James Madison's won. James Madison's clinched the East. They're in the championship game. They will more than likely host it unless something crazy happens. But they have one more conference game in 2 weeks against Coastal. But they have Washington State this weekend in a very interesting non-con game. The West, Southern Miss is in first place still at 5-1. They did lose to Texas State, which was kind of shocking considering how down Texas State's been this year. Southern Miss has one loss. Arkansas State and Troy have 2 losses. That is the race. Southern Miss plays Troy, I believe, next week in the finale. So if Southern loses that game, Troy might have a chance to get to the title game. Now, Southern Miss has already beat Arkansas State. So let's see. Arkansas State beat Troy. So, yeah. Southern Miss needs to lose their last 2, and Arkansas State and Troy Arkansas State needs to win out. But if Southern Miss can just get one more win, they're in the championship game. They play South Alabama on Saturday, so looking very likely that it's going to be Southern Miss against James Madison for the Sun Belt Championship, unless something changes. All right, next up, let's look at Conference USA. Okay, did not expect that one to jump over my feed. All right, here's Conference USA. Jacksonville State is undefeated. They're 6-0 with 2 conference games left. Western Kentucky is 6-1. They have 1 left. They play LSU this weekend, and then they close against Jacksonville State, I believe. Kennesaw State has 1 loss. They've already lost to Jacksonville State. Missouri State is ineligible, but could still get to a bowl game if they win their waiver. But if I had to put my money on it, we might get a Jacksonville State-Kennesaw State rematch, for all I know, in the conference championship game. All right, moving on. Mountain West, okay. Here's the Mountain West standings. San Diego State kind of has already beaten Boise. I believe they beat Fresno. Let me check real quick while we're here. Let's see, because they're the only one with 1 loss. They got San Jose State this weekend, and then they got to go to New Mexico, who is very surprisingly still in this thing. Oh, does San Diego State play Fresno? No, they don't. They don't play Fresno this year. Oh, yeah, they did. I'm sorry. They've already beat Fresno. There it is. Okay, so San Diego State, 1 loss. Fresno State, Boise, New Mexico, UNLV, and Hawaii all have 2 losses. So you've got a 5-team logjam of 2 lost teams. San Diego State's already beat Fresno and Boise. They still have to play New Mexico at the end of the year. Of course, if San Diego State wins into the game, they're pretty much in the championship. They're really good. If you've not seen San Diego State, check out that defense. Really good football team on defense and the running game. All right, moving on. Here is the MAC, which MAC's going on right now. Western Michigan's in first place. We saw them last night against Northern Illinois. They won that game. They got 1 game to go. Eastern Michigan next Tuesday night. If they win that game, they're off to Detroit. Then you've got a 5-team logjam of 2 lost teams. Ohio, who beat UMass last night. Central Michigan, we'll see them against Kent State tonight. Toledo, I think they played Ball State on Saturday. And then you got Buffalo and Miami, Ohio, who both play tonight. So loser's pretty much out of the MAC title race. If I had to put my money on anybody, it would be Western Michigan and Ohio for a rematch because they played last week and Western Michigan won. By the way, I don't know if I said it, but Mountain West, I'm going to put San Diego State and Fresno State for a collision course for the championship. SEC, I'm going to stick with Texas A&M against Alabama. All right, moving on. So, good pace of the show. All right, next up, Big 12. All right, here's the Big 12 standings. Texas Tech is in first place. Obviously, they are 10-1, 7-1 in the conference. BYU 6-1 in conference. Texas Tech's off this week. They got 1 more game. BYU is at Cincinnati, and then they got UCF. Utah is hanging, and Houston and Arizona State and Cincinnati are all lurking still with 2 losses. Cincinnati has already lost to Utah. Don't think they played Houston. I can't remember. Arizona State. If BYU and Texas Tech obviously win out, that'll be your championship game. Yeah, that's who I've got my money on. But here's what it looks like currently in the Big 12. All right, next up, let's do the Big 10. Okay, so this one's pretty simple. If Indiana and Ohio State win out, Indiana's got one game left. They're off this week when their last game's Purdue. If Indiana wins, they're in. Ohio State wins out, they're in. Now, you got USC, Oregon, and Michigan all with one loss. USC plays Oregon Saturday. We're going to pick that game here in just a little bit. If Michigan beats Ohio State, who knows? But my money's on Indiana and Ohio State. I think they're the two best teams in the country right now. So that is an update on the Big Ten standings. All right, we got two more. We're going backwards. Y'all haven't noticed. Okay, here's the American Navy. After the big win over South Florida, it's 6-1. You got Tulane, North Texas, and East Carolina, all 5-1. USF 4-2, but they're on life support. Navy closes with Memphis on Thanksgiving because they're off this week, and then they play Memphis on Thanksgiving, and then they got Army, but that's after the championship game. Tulane 8-2, 5-1. They're in the top 25 of the playoff poll. They've got Temple and Charlotte left. They should cruise to 10-2 and 7-1 and should get to the championship. North Texas and East Carolina. Let me pull up North Texas real quick. They've got Rice on the road, who they should beat, and then they got Temple, who they should beat. And they didn't play East Carolina this year, so East Carolina closes with at UTSA and at FAU. Okay. If I had to be a predicting man, I think we're on a collision course for Tulane and North Texas. Oh, hang on just a second, guys. I gotta respond to this. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had to respond to that. It's kind of important. All right, finally, here's the ACC train wreck of the standings, as we call it. Georgia Tech, Virginia, pretty much in the catbird seat if they win their finales. Georgia Tech's last ACC game is this week. Virginia still got Virginia Tech. If Georgia Tech and Virginia win, that's going to be your ACC championship, and Miami will be on the outside looking in. Pitt plays Georgia Tech. We'll pick that game in just a little bit. SMU with only one loss, and they're still in this, so don't count the Mustangs out. All right, so that's that. We're going to take one more break, and then we're going to come right back for our final segment, which is predictions. We'll predict this weekend's games. See y'all in a little bit.
To hate Andrew Anderson, spitting truth that just can't wait. Got a podcast like a punch right to your face. College sports villain, taking it over the place. I bring the facts whether you like it or not. Dropping truth bombs, giving it all I got. They call me a villain. Well, I wear that badge with pride. Nothing but secrets they try to hide. Hard rock in my veins, rebellious to the core. I won't back down, won't take it anymore. The bad guy of the podcast world, that's me. Unleashing the truth, setting it all free. Unleashing the truth.
All right, guys, welcome back to 4th and 25. It's our final segment. Appreciate those of y'all who tuned in or checked in. Again, thanks for the likes and the love, comment, reactions. All right, it is our final segment. This is where we do our predictions for what we like for this coming weekend's games. This is obviously the weekend where a lot of SEC teams play a non-conference game against a very undesirable opponent, but it is what it is. All right, so let's get started. We're going to do 2 Friday night games for Pick'ems this week on here for our selections. Let's get it started. Friday night, we've got a 7 o'clock ESPN kickoff. We've got Florida State, NC State. They're both 5-5. Winner's at least going to get to bowl eligibility, if nothing else. So here's the comparison. Looking at the red zone, Florida State's defense in the red zone, 84th, 85.7% scoring allowed. NC State's red zone offense is 10th. They score on 93.5% of their trips. Third down on defense, NC State pretty weak, 124th, 45.1% complete scoring allowed. Now, other stats. Offense, Florida State 7th in total offense. NC State's 51st. Total defense, NC State 127th, allowing 440 a game. Florida State is 25th at 321 a game. Florida State's rushing attack 9th, 227.7 a game. NC State's rush defense 54th, 140.5 a game. NC State's passing attack, they're 35th through the air, 262 a game. Florida State's pass defense, 39th, 196.9 a game. Florida State 6th in the country on third down conversions, 51.9% conversion rate. That's pretty solid. NC State is 63rd in that category. Scoring defense, 29th for the Noles, 20.3 points a game allowed. NC State 118th, allowing 31.6 a game. A lot of defensive woes for the Wolfpack. 127th in total defense, 136th in pass defense. Florida State's 37th in passing offense. NC State 54th again against the run, 118th in total defense. Florida State's defense 25th total, 39th against the pass, 33rd against the run, 29th in scoring. Also scoring offense, Florida State's 17th, NC State's 56th. So yeah. Games in Raleigh should be a great atmosphere. Obviously, winner's going to get bowl eligible if nothing else. This is an interesting series, especially when they play in Raleigh. Good little Friday night game. But even though I do think Mike Norvell's on borrowed time, just my gut feeling, I'm taking Florida State. I think they're going to be just a little too much for NC State's defense. But I wouldn't be shocked either way. I think it's a close game, but I like Florida State to win this football game. All right. We're going to pick another Friday night game. This is a Mountain West game. This is a big game. Both these teams are in contention to get to the Mountain West Championship. You've got Hawaii, and they're 7-3 record, by the way, at UNLV, who's 8-2. Games in Vegas. Sorry. Something on my back there for a minute. Okay. Hawaii, NC State. Hawaii, UNLV. I'm sorry. This is a 9:30 FS1 kickoff. Both these teams trying to get to the Mountain West Championship. Here's the tale of the tape. Hawaii's offense, 52nd total, 9th passing at 302.4 yards a game. They're 125th in rushing offense. Obviously, that's a Hawaii staple. They're 50th in scoring offense. UNLV's offense, 17th total, 43rd passing, 20th rushing attack. They're averaging just over 201.3 a game. 16th in scoring. They're scoring 36.6 points per game. This should be a fun game. I think this could be a very entertaining game. Both teams are solid on third down. You've got Hawaii 24th, UNLV's 33rd. Fourth downs, both are in the 40s. UNLV 40th, Hawaii 44th. And then you look on defense. Hawaii is the better defensive team. 52nd total, 62nd against the pass, 45th against the rush, 67th scoring. UNLV's defense is putrid. They are bad. They are 130th in total defense, allowing 448.6 a game, 120th against the pass, which is 264 a game, 117th in rush defense, 184.5 yards a game allowed, 114th in scoring defense, 31 points a game. Turnover margin, Hawaii's at -4, it's 101st. UNLV 19th, +7 in turnover margin. Time of possession, Hawaii is 10th in the country, 32.55 a game. UNLV, very penalized team, 116th, 64.5 yards a game in penalties. Hawaii, one of the best red zone offenses in the country. They are third in red zone scoring, 97.1%. UNLV's red zone defense is not good, 99th at 87.1% scoring allowed. Okay, so with that said, UNLV does not really lose at home. And sometimes they'll pull a win out like they did against Utah State. This should be a fun game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to go UNLV. I have no confidence in this game, but I'm going to take UNLV to win this game at home in Vegas on Friday night. So give me UNLV. All right, next up, let's head to Dallas. And solid ACC game still, despite recent forthcomings. SMU and Louisville. This is an 11 a.m. ESPN2 kickoff. Sorry about that. This is an 11 a.m. ESPN2 kickoff. Louisville, of course, trying to regroup from the disappointing loss to Clemson. SMU trying to stay alive for a trip to the ACC Championship. Remember, they only have one conference loss. That was to Wake Forest. Here's the tale of the tape. Offensively, we've got Louisville at 399.8 a game offense, 60th. SMU's 54th at 406.6 points yards per game. Passing offense, Louisville 54th. SMU 18th at 284.5 a game. Rushing offense, Louisville 71st. SMU very down at 106. They barely run the ball that much, 122 a game. Scoring offense, both respectable. Louisville 44th, SMU is 39th, 32.2 a game. Scoring total defense, SMU's rough, 100th. They're allowing 400.7 yards a game. Louisville 16th at 297.9 a game. Pass defense, Louisville is 26th against the pass, only allowing 188 a game. SMU, very bad, 135th pass defense, 298.6 yards a game. Rush defense, both these teams can stop the run solidly. Louisville's 23rd, allowing just over 109 a game. SMU 15th against the run, allowing 102.1 yards a game. Pass defense, total defense, scoring defense. I'm sorry, I'm so off today. Scoring defense, both are in the 30s. Louisville 39th, SMU is 31st. Third down conversion rate, both are kind of bad. Louisville 38.1%, which is 85th. SMU only a 37% conversion rate on third down. That's 93rd best. Yikes. Louisville's 107th on fourth downs. Okay, third down defense. Louisville, very good. 31.5% allowing conversion rate, which is 17th best. SMU, a plus 11 turnover margin. They're 6th in the country. Penalty yards. Both these teams are heavily penalized. Very badly penalized. Louisville's 117th, allowing they're having 65.2 penalty yards a game. SMU's 134th at 71.2. Time of possession, Louisville 57th, SMU 133rd. Okay, so with that said, this could be a good game. But I think one team is ascending, and I'm scared the other team is descending. I like SMU. I'm gonna take SMU at home. I think they beat Louisville and keep their slim ACC title hopes alive. But give me SMU to win the football game. All right, moving on. Let's go to the SEC. 11 a.m. ABC kickoff from Norman, Oklahoma. We've got Missouri coming in against OU. Both are in the top 25 of the CFP poll. Missouri 7-3, Oklahoma's 8-2. Sooners obviously trying to get to the playoff, and they're in good shape. All you gotta do is just win out. Here's the tale of the tape. Offense, Oklahoma is bad. 89th in total, 71st passing, 96th in rush offense, and 63rd scoring. Missouri's offense, 21st in total, 91st in passing. Now, of course, your quarterback's been injured for several weeks, so you're on a unproven, pretty much backup, who hasn't played bad, but rumor mill Brett Pugela might be able to play for Missouri. We'll keep an eye on that. 6th best rushing offense. When you got a running back like Ahmad Hardy, you ain't got to throw the ball a lot. And then they're 22nd in scoring offense. Now, third downs, Missouri 11th, OU 65th. Fourth downs, Missouri 6th, OU 54th. Oklahoma 65th in third downs. I apologize. Now, defense. We got two solid defenses colliding in this game. Let's look at that. Total defense. You got number 10, Missouri, number 11, Oklahoma. They're both in the top 11. Pass defense. Missouri 15th, OU 37th. Rush defense. Both are in the top 18. Missouri's 18th against the run. Guys, Oklahoma, 4th in run defense. So here's your matchup. OU in that 4th-ranked rushing defense, which is allowing 82.2 yards per game, and Missouri with the 6th-ranked rushing offense, which is at 241.7 a game on the ground. And then finally, scoring defense, Missouri's 25th, Oklahoma's 8th. Third down defense, both are really good, 13th in that, only allowing a 31.3% conversion rate. Red zone defense, Missouri 64th. Oklahoma red zone offense first, 100% scoring. Time of possession, Missouri 13th at 32 minutes and 33 seconds. OU 78th at 29:34. Okay, so with that said, I think this is going to be a good football game. Oklahoma could be on upset alert, but I just think, even though their offense is not world beaters, Oklahoma is juiced. They are amped. They know what know what they're capable of. They know what's on the line. They know if they win out, they're probably hosting a playoff game. I think Oklahoma comes out on a mission and has to fight. But Oklahoma, I'm going to pick Oklahoma to win this football game. I think Oklahoma beats Missouri on Saturday. All right, next up, we're actually going to do a Conference USA game. I would have never thought this game would be a pick 'em or a selection special. But here you go. I don't have a graphic for this one. I apologize. So I just got my helmets out. All right, we got Missouri State, Kennesaw State, a big game in Conference USA. 1 o'clock ESPN Plus. Both are 7-3, having great seasons. Missouri State's their first year in the FBS. Statistically, we've got the 77th total offense, Missouri State. 62nd is Kennesaw. Passing offense, Missouri State respectable, 32nd. They throw for 264.9 per game. They're 121st rushing. Kennesaw State 66th passing, 55th rushing. Scoring offense, you've got Kennesaw 75th, and then Missouri State is 91st. Third down conversions, Missouri State's pretty bad, 117th. Kennesaw 65th. Fourth downs, Kennesaw State 73rd. Missouri State 11th in the country in fourth down conversion rate at 70%. That's pretty respectable. Pretty good. Pretty good. Defensively, Kennesaw State is 84th in total defense, 87th against the pass, 86th against the run, 50th scoring. Missouri State 62nd total, 71st against the pass, 56th against the rush, and 77th scoring. Turnover margin, Missouri State -5, 107. Kennesaw State +3, that's 40th in the country. Both teams are heavily penalized. Missouri State 120th at 65.8 a game penalty yards. Kennesaw State is 128th at 68.7 penalty yards a game. Time of possession, Missouri State 32nd at 31:17. Kennesaw State's in the hundreds at 28:04. Okay, so this is a tough one for me to pick. Very tough one. Should be a good game. But I'm going to go with Kennesaw State at home. I'll go with Kennesaw State. I think their defense finds a way to frustrate Missouri State's quarterback just enough, and I think they win this football game. Give me Kennesaw State. I'll just go with the Owls. So this is a pick 'em. I think it's a toss-up, but I'm not confident. But I'm going to go with Kennesaw State. All right. Next up, I think we got, 5 more games? Yeah, 5 more games. Okay. And then we'll get ready to shut it down. All right. Rivalry week is next week, but we have some rivalries this week. How about the battle for the victory bell? We've got Duke and we got North Carolina. And this ain't basketball. This is football. Great basketball rivalry. But you also got the football side of things. Duke and North Carolina, 2:30 ACC Network. Duke trying to recover from getting thumped by Virginia and pretty much ending their ACC title hopes. Duke 29th, still in total offense. Number 8 passing offense in the country, over 300 yards a game, 302.9. 100th in rushing offense, 31st scoring. 67th on third down conversions. Duke's 10th on fourth down conversions, 73.9% conversion rate. Let's look at North Carolina's offense. This is bad. This is bad offense. But first-year coach trying to build his system and get his guys. He's seeing what he's got. But anyway, North Carolina, 131st in total offense, 113th in pass offense, 122nd rushing, 123rd in scoring, 18.7 points a game. Yikes. 121st in third downs, 4th in third downs. They're pretty good on fourth down, 78.6% conversion rate. And then you look at the defense. It's a complete flip of the coin. Duke defense is bad. 119th in total. They're 130th in pass defense, allowing 273.3 per game. 66 rushing, 101st in scoring, basically giving up 30 points a game. North Carolina's defense is solid. 37th total. 61st against the pass, not great. But they're 26th against the run, only allowing 114 a game. And 43rd in scoring at 22 points a game allowed. So it seems like over the course of the season, North Carolina's gotten better on defense, but they're still struggling on offense. Third down defense, Duke's 119th. Turnover margin, Duke's got a +4 at 32. North Carolina -2, 89th. Penalty yards, Duke's again, highly penalized, 122nd at 66.4 penalty yards a game. North Carolina, 51.9, which is 58th best. Belichick will put it clean to that if he can. Red zone defense, Duke is 130th in the red zone, allowing 92.9% scoring. And North Carolina's offense is 126th in the red zone, 72.4%. Okay, so after all that blabbering, I like this. This is a fun rivalry. Obviously, the basketball rivalry kind of dominates it, but still a solid football game here. I'm concerned about Duke. I just don't like where they're going. They faded offensively last week, and their defense got trounced. Defense has been bad, but offense did not look good against Virginia. I think North Carolina is ascending just a little bit. I think they win this game. I like North Carolina. They know they can still get Belichick to a bowl game. I'm going to take North Carolina to beat Duke. Give me the Tar Heels in an upset because they're underdogs. I think, yeah, 6 points. Yeah, Duke by 6. I like North Carolina to beat Duke. Maybe my upset of the week. All right, biggest game of the weekend. Yeah, this is definitely the biggest game of the weekend. USC at Oregon, 2:30 on CBS. Top 15 showdown. USC's 8-2. Oregon's 9-1. Both teams have playoff aspirations. Eugene is going to be rocking for this game. It is going to be huge. So here's your matchup. Let's look at USC on offense. Sixth in total offense, 488.9 a game. They're 10th in pass offense at 298.1. 28th in rushing offense, 190.8. That's pretty respectable. Scoring offense, they're 10th at 38.2 points per game. Now look at Oregon on defense. Oregon is exceptional on defense. Third in total defense, allowing 235.4 yards a game. That's incredible today. And guys, Oregon's the number one pass defense in college football. They barely allow 127.3 yards a game passing. That's how good they are. They're 20th in pass defense. No, 20th in run defense. I'm sorry. 6th in scoring defense, allowing only 13.7 points a game. Oregon, exceptional defense. USC, pretty strong offense. Now, let's flip the coin. Oregon's offense, 11th in total. They are 57th passing. They're 8th in rushing offense at 233.6 a game. They're scoring 39 points a game, which is 7th best. USC's defense, 47th total, 43rd pass, 64th against the run, 41st in scoring. Can Oregon slow down can USC slow down the run of Oregon? Who knows? It's possible. If Indiana can go in there and do stuff that they did, USC could too. But red zone offense, USC's 9th, 94% scoring. Oregon's defense in the red zone is 132nd. They're allowing 94.4% scoring. Oregon, very disciplined team, 20th in penalty yards per game at 41.9. So the matchups are all over the field here. I love this matchup of USC on offense and Oregon on defense. Can the Trojans expose Oregon's defense? Can they make enough plays? Or can their defense get to Dante Moore and rattle Oregon? This should be an exceptional football game. I think Oregon, just like Georgia, is peaking at the right time. I'm going to take Oregon. Give me Oregon to win this football game. I think it's going to be a close game, but I love where Oregon's going. I think Oregon beats USC on Saturday. So give me the Ducks. All right. Next up, we've got 3 more games to go real quick. Kind of not a huge game, but I think it's a solid one in the Big 12. We've got in-state rivals colliding. 3 o'clock on Fox. TCU at Houston down in H-Town. So here's the rundown. TCU, 44th in total offense, 13th passing, 291.4 a game, 108th rushing, 48th scoring, 40th on third downs, 20th on third downs, 20th at 47.4% conversions rate, 44th on fourth down. Then on defense, they're 75th total, 112th against the pass, yikes, 36th against the run, that's not bad, 127.3 a game allowed rushing, 83rd scoring. Now you look at Houston, 69th in total offense. They are 76th passing the ball, 56th rushing, 60th in scoring offense, 46th in third down conversions, 71st in fourth downs. Total defense, Houston's respectable, 39th at 333.1 a game, 41st against the pass, 50th against the run, and they're allowing about 22.1 points per game, which is 46th best. Time of possession, clearly Houston keeps the ball more than 33rd at 31 minutes and 16 seconds. TCU not as much, 114th at 28 minutes and 10 seconds. Third down defense, TCU's 101st. Penalty yards a game, TCU 103rd, 61 yards a game in penalties, undisciplined. Houston a little better, a lot better, 25th at 43.6 penalty yards a game. So Willie Fritz's team a little more disciplined. And then in the red zone, a couple of stats. TCU defense in the red zone 121st, allowing their opponents to score 90.9% of their trips. Houston's offense in the red zone is pretty good. They're 8th in red zone offense, 94.1% scoring. Okay, so this is a solid matchup, but I like Houston here. They still have slim hopes to get to the Big 12 championship, or if nothing else, a really good bowl trip. And I'm going to be curious to see how TCU responds after getting pummeled at BYU. TCU seems to be slipping at the wrong time. A little worried about Sonny Dykes' team. I'm trying to live in the early 2000s thinking Gary Patterson's still in Fort Worth. My fault. But anyway, I like Houston to win this football game. Give me the Cougars to go to 9-2 and give Willie Fritz a really good second year. All right, huge game in the ACC. Atlanta, Georgia is the site. 6 o'clock ESPN. We've got Pitt. We got Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech wins. They're going to Charlotte to play for the ACC championship. 9-1, great year. Haynes King is a stud. Let's look at Georgia Tech. Number 1 total offense in college football. Yep, you heard that right. 496.7 yards per game. They are 26 passing. They are 10th in rushing at 224.6. This is a really good football team offensively. Scoring offense, they're 19th at 36 points per game. 9th in third down conversions at 51.3%. They're in the hundreds on fourth downs. Pitt's offense, 55th total, 14th passing, 287.5 a game. People realize Pitt is an air team. Pitt throws it all over the place. Pitt's not a run team. They're 110th in rush offense. Usually, there's a time you would have thought of Pittsburgh, you would think of running game, big linemen between the tackles, old school, pro style. That ain't this Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh throws it over the yard. Scoring offense, they're 12th, and then they're 119th in third downs, 33.1%. Yikes. And fourth downs, they're 31st at 64%. Okay, so that's the offensive comparisons. Now let's look at the defenses. We'll start with Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's 105th in total defense and pass defense. Yikes. 97th in run defense. 71st in scoring defense. Pitt's defense is 32nd total, 92nd against the pass. However, 9th against the run. Pitt only allows 90.3 yards a game, so they're not allowing 100 yards a game. That's impressive. 57th in scoring defense. So you got Pitt with the 9th ranked rush defense, Georgia Tech with the 10th ranked rushing offense. Could be a very, very sneaky good matchup that not many are talking about. Dang, I got some great facial hairs coming in. And then Georgia Tech is 105th in pass defense. Pitt is 14th in passing offense. So there's weaknesses in this football game for both of these teams on defense that kind of have my attention. However, I like balance. Georgia Tech has balance. You got a quarterback who can throw it and he can run it. He can kill you. He can kill you with his legs. I like Georgia Tech. I think they're on a mission. I think they're going to punch their ticket to the ACC championship game on Saturday night. Give me Georgia Tech to win this football game. All right, we got one more game, and then we're going to run through the rest of the pick'ems, and then we're going to get out of here. Saturday night, 7 o'clock on Fox, we've got BYU headed to Cincinnati, another good Big 12 game here. BYU knows what's at stake. Keep winning, and you get another shot at Texas Tech. BYU, 43rd total offense, 77th passing. Strong running game, 21st at 195.1 yards a game. They're 25th in scoring at 39 points a game pretty much. 75th in third down conversions, 27th in fourth downs. I've got a comment. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. All right. Cincinnati offense, 35th in total offense, 65th passing, 22nd rushing, 23rd scoring, 59th in third downs, 2nd and fourth downs. Cincinnati, the number 2 team in the country in fourth down conversion rate, 81.3%. That's pretty good. Defensively, BYU is way better. 26th in total defense, 33rd against the pass, 43rd against the run, 13th in scoring, allowing only 17.8 points per game. Cincinnati's defense is not as good. 87th in total, 88th against the pass and the run, so they're 88th in both those defensive categories. 51st in scoring. BYU's defense on third down is also 13th in third down defense, 31.1% conversion rate. Turnover margin, Cincinnati is even at 67th. BYU plus 8, 12th best. Penalty yards per game, Cincinnati, horribly disciplined team, 130th, 69 penalty yards a game. BYU's 45th at 49.6 penalty yards per game. In the red zone, BYU's defense is 10th, allowing 73% scoring. Cincinnati is 14th at 75%. So both these defenses are not too shabby when it comes to the red zone. Time of possession, Cincinnati is near the bottom, 136. They keep the ball for roughly 24-39 per game. And BYU is 15th at 32 minutes and 24 seconds. All right. So Cincinnati suffered a gut-wrenching loss last week to Arizona at home. I think BYU is going to be too much for them. I think BYU out-physicals them, and I think they're going to pull away late. I think it's close for at least a half or so, but I think BYU will be too much. I like BYU to win this football game. All right, so that's Saturday selections. Let's run through the picks real quick. Here's a recap. This is who I'm going with in week number 12, starting with the marquee games. I like Friday night. I like Florida State over NC State, and I like UNLV over Hawaii. So that's my pick for the Friday night games. The big Saturday games that we just did, I like SMU over Louisville. I like Oklahoma over Mizzou. Kennesaw State over Missouri State. North Carolina upsets Duke. I've got Oregon over USC. Houston over TCU. Georgia Tech over Pitt. And BYU over Cincinnati. All right, so that's those games. Now here's the rest of them real quick. Some other games I picked we just weren't going to do on the show. It would take too long within the show. Tonight in the MAC, I like Miami, Ohio to beat Buffalo to become bowl eligible. I like Arkansas State over UL Lafayette tomorrow night. And then on Saturday, as you see, I put a whole list of games. I like Iowa State to beat Kansas. I like Northwestern over Minnesota. I think the Cats get bowl eligible. I think Arizona beats Baylor. JMU, James Madison hosting Washington State. This is a sneaky good game, but I like James Madison. They're 13-point favorite. I think they're going to shut Wazoo down a little bit. Marshall over App State. I have no confidence in that pick. I can't remember what they call that. It's got a cool name. It's an Appalachian rivalry, but I got Marshall. I got La Tech beating Liberty. Battle of I-10 Saturday night. UTEP and New Mexico State. They play for that really cool looking shovel trophy. I-10, which, El Paso to Las Cruces. But I like UTEP. I got Vandy over Kentucky. I got Penn State over Nebraska. Penn State's favored by like 9.5 last time I checked. That's kind of interesting. But I'm going to take Penn State. I think Nebraska could be in trouble just a little bit against this team. Cal and Stanford, the big game. They're obviously huge rivals. I like Cal to win that game. Florida upsets Tennessee. Florida's at home. They're still playing hard. Offense can still be explosive. Ole Miss saw that this past weekend. I don't know. I have a feeling this one being in Gainesville. I like Florida. Give me Florida to beat Tennessee. And then finally, I got Fresno State beating Utah State. All right. So that is a wrap for that. Great show. Great pace. Sorry for the technical problems. I got us back on Facebook. I'm sorry if anybody missed anything. I apologize. But I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. We're going to close with a Bible verse real quick. This week's verse, 2 Timothy 1, verse 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. He's given us a lot. He gives us a lot. Not given the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Thank you, Jesus. That is our verse of the day. All right, guys. Again, thank y'all so much. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Andrew, College Sports Villains. Thank you guys for, as always, allowing me to be a part of this group. No Mercy Sports, Villain Media Network, all the channels that I get to put this on every week. I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much for allowing me to be here. I love doing this. Same time next week. Next week will be our final full show because next week's the last week of the regular season. We're nearing the finish line, guys. Pressing to get down to crunch time with rivalries and the postseason, man. It's flying, y'all. This season goes quick. Great sport. There's nothing like it, in my opinion. The same time next week. Stay safe out there, and we're gonna launch this thing and try to build this brand. We're gonna try to take it to some new places down the road. During the off season, we're gonna expand our presence on social media, and hopefully we can take this thing off to the next level. Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for your support. Hope you have a wonderful day out there. Take care of yourselves, and most of all, God bless you. Hope you have a wonderful day.